We all have thoughts about what our purpose is in this world, what value we can provide, and what we will eventually become. In the 1894 short story titled A Handful of Clay, written by Henry Van Dyke, we see life through a piece of clay that has high hopes for its future. This story has taught me that even if things don't seem to be going your way, they could actually be preparing you for what you have always wanted. There was a handful of clay in the bank of a river. It was only common clay, coarse and heavy, but it had high thoughts of its own value and wonderful dreams of the great place which it was to fill in this world. Waiting blindly in its bed, the clay comforted itself with lofty hopes. My time will come, it said. I was not made to be hidden forever. Glory and beauty and honor are coming to me in due season. One day, a flat blade of iron passed beneath it and lifted it, and tossed it into a cart with other lumps of clay. It was carried far away, as it seemed, over a rough and stony road. But it was not discouraged, for it said to itself, "This is necessary. The path to glory is always rugged." But the hard journey was nothing compared to the distress that came after it. The clay was put into a trough, and mixed and beaten and stirred and trampled. It seemed almost unbearable. But there was consolation in the thought that something very fine and noble was certainly coming out of all this trouble. Then it was put swiftly upon a turning wheel, and whirled around until it seemed as if it must fly into 1,000 pieces. A strange power pressed it and molded it, and as it revolved, and through all the dizziness and pain, it felt that it was taking a new form. Then an unknown hand put it into an oven, where fires were kindled about it, fierce and penetrating, harder than all the heats of the summer that had ever brooded upon the bank of that river. But through all, the clay held itself together and endured its trials, in the confidence of a great future. At last the baking was finished. The clay was taken from the furnace and set down upon a board, in the cool air, under the blue sky. The reward was at hand. Close beside the board there was a pool of water, calm enough to reflect with impartial truth every image that fell upon it. There, for the first time, the clay saw its new shape, the reward of all of its patience and pain, the consummation of hopes. A common flower pot, straight and stiff, red and ugly. Many days it passed in sullen discontent. Then it was filled with earth, and something, it knew not what, but something rough and brown and dead-looking, was thrust into the middle of the earth and covered over. The clay rebelled at this new disgrace. Surely I'm a failure. But presently it was set in a greenhouse, where sunlight fell warm upon it, and water was sprinkled over it. And day by day, as it waited, a change began to come. Something was stirring within it, a new hope. One day the clay was lifted again from its place and carried into a great church. Its dream was coming true after all. Glorious music flowed over it. Still, it could not understand, so it whispered to another vessel of clay, like itself, close beside it. "Why have they set me here? Why do all the people look toward us?" And the other vessel answered, "Do you not know? You are carrying a royal scepter of lilies. Their petals are white as snow, and the heart of them is like pure gold. The people look this way because the flower is the most wonderful in the world, and the root of it is in your heart." Then the clay was content, and silently thanked its maker, because, though an earthen vessel, it held so great a treasure. Thank you.